Welcome to this week's Plays of the Week. I'm Carl Vigil, your Commissioner of Officials. As we review Week 1, one key theme stands out: officiating the entire play. As the play develops and we move on from our keys, we need to move on to the next possible competitive matchup near the action of play. We've seen some great officiating, but also instances where our judgment could have been sharper. As we move into Week 2, it's crucial that we stay focused from start to finish, ensuring we make the correct calls more often than not. Now, let's dive into the plays that highlight these opportunities for growth.
Welcome to week 1 of our New Mexico high school football training tape. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I want to remind everybody that these training tapes are for learning purposes to be used during your pregame discussions and preparations. Also want to make sure that everybody understands we are not doing these tapes to single out officials or single out crews for mistakes, but to just bring to light some issues that we can improve on and to help us get better across the state and more consistent in officiating. With that, let's get on to our first play. We're going to have a free kick. This free kick is going to be returned, and we're going to have a fumble. And we're going to rule the runner down. Our umpire is going to rule him down. You can see the ball come out, and we're going to see the kicking team scoop and go the other way, but our umpire is killing the play right here. So we want to make sure that we have a process for understanding if we have a fumble or if we have a runner down, or if we need to let the play go and let the fumble go on. Basically, what you need to do is, at this point here, we need to see two things in order to rule this runner down. We need to see the ball in his possession, and we need to see a body part down. If we don't see both of those, then we cannot rule the runner down. And from this angle, the umpire does not have a look to see if that ball is in possession when he sees this knee come down. If the knee is in fact down, we don't believe that the knee is down. We believe that the runner has kept himself up, and it's this next contact that jars the ball loose. So what we want to do is be very patient on this, understand where the play is going. This play is going away from the umpire and to the line judge's side of the field. So we would be happy to let that line judge rule on this. And we can see the line judge is not making a ruling until after he sees the umpire marking the runner down. So we want to just be very patient on these plays, especially as they are running away from us. If we don't see both body part down and ball in possession, then we're going to assume that that play is going to play on. Aside, this is a inadvertent whistle, so the options go to the kicking team with the option to either replay the down or to take the ball at the spot. To the receiving team to have the ball re-kicked, or to take the result of the play of possession where the inadvertent whistle occurs. Play number 2 today involves a hit that was ruled targeting on the field. We're going to follow our runner as he rolls out to his left and starts to make his way upfield. We want to look for the hit by this defender right here. And we'll let it play a couple of times so you can get a good look at it. And then we'll pause it and we'll discuss this foul. Again, the ruling on the field was targeting, flagrant foul, and number 2 of the defense was ejected. So first off, let's just talk about the hit. At this particular point right here, we seem to be in good position. We have plenty of space to see this hit right here. Back judge, you have a good look. There may be a couple of players in front of you. Umpire, you also have a pretty good look at this too, even though you're some distance away. But right now, we're in great position to see this play. I'll play it in slow motion. We can see this hit, and we can see that there appears to be some contact to the head. There's no definition of this being a defenseless player, and there's no need for him to be defenseless for this to be a foul. But what we're seeing here is a player trying to make a tackle. And so the question comes, in the rule reads, targeting is an act by any player who takes aim and initiates contact against an opponent above the shoulders with the helmet form, hand, fist, elbow, and shoulders. So I think we can all agree that there is contact above the head and neck area with the shoulders. But the question here is, does the defender take aim? And so what we want to see is something more of going after a player that's not involved in this play and hitting him above the head and neck area, if we wanted to call this targeting flagrant foul. This defender's making a play on a tackler, and yes, he does hit him above the head, but this does not warrant an ejection. So we want to be able to see the whole play, and if we err on the side of safety, we're good, but we want to get a little bit better at being able to decipher who's making hits on whom. In this particular case, we don't believe that this defender is taking aim at the runner. He is simply making a tackle. It's a hard hit, but does not rise to the level of an ejection. Our third play today involves Rule 717A and B. It's dealing with false starts. You can see that the offense comes up to the line, and we're going to see them set, and then we're going to see all of them move. Now, the foul here was actually called on the defense for defense offsides, but this is a false start. And the question we're going to be saying is, well, why is this a false start? Well, what we want to look at is Rule 717A. It is a false start if a shift or feign charge simulates action at the snap, and B, any act that is clearly intended to cause B to encroach. And so if we look at this play, let's first take a look at just the movement of the offense. We have third down. We know it's going to be close to 5, so they're definitely in a position where drawing the defense offside is going to be to their advantage. And then if we look at their movement, that is a coordinated movement. That is not a shift. That's a coordinated movement intended to draw the defense offsides. It looks like a play is starting. So we want to make sure that we recognize that. I'll let you see it one more time in full speed. That is a coordinated movement to simulate the start of a play. The other piece of evidence that we need to be able to observe on this is our quarterback. If we look at our quarterback's actions, you can see his hands move, which is an indicator that he has barked or has made some sort of signal initiating this shift, which is also simulating the start of a play. So all in all together, this should be called for a false start. And again, I'll read the rule 717A and B. It is a false start if a shift or feign charge simulates action at the snap, which this simulates action at the snap, and B, any act that is clearly intended to cause B to encroach. This is a foul for a false start. Play number 4, we want to take a look at the action by the offense on this play. We're going to have everybody come up to the line, and at this particular moment I've paused it, everybody's set. And then we're going to have the offensive line go down in the stands while this receiver goes in motion, and nobody ever comes to a complete stop. So what we have here is an illegal shift. We do not have a false start. This is an illegal shift. So right at this particular moment, when I pause it here, all 11 players have come together in a formation and have set for at least 1 second. So we're out of the false start territory unless somebody moves to simulate a play. But what we have here is essentially 6 players, potentially 8 players, 7 or 8 players moving at the same time and nobody coming to a reset. That motion back continues to move. So this is an illegal motion penalty, and we should get this on the field, which we did. This is a live ball foul for illegal motion. Play 5 this week involves 8-man football rules, and we want to again look at offensive formations here. We're going to see them come up to a lineup, and at this particular point, the 8-man rule states that there's a difference for 7-C. Each A player, regardless of jersey number, who at the snap was on an end of the scrimmage line, total of 2, and each A player who at the snap was legally behind the scrimmage line, maximum of 3, is eligible. So at this particular point, if we look at what we have here, we have this player is eligible and this player is eligible by virtue of being on the end of the line. Sorry, this player right here is eligible by being on the end of the line. However, the max they can have in the backfield is 3, and right now we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 right there. So we have too many players in the backfield on this play, and this should be a foul for illegal formation. They're going to run a play. We don't get the foul, and we want to make sure that we understand this rule when we're working 8-man games. So make sure you go through those 8-man rules before, but just something to think about when you're pregame meeting for an 8-man game, or if you're doing a 6-man game, is go over those rules changes and be able to recognize formation fouls. This is a foul for illegal formation in an 8-man football game. Play 6 this week involves a forward progress spot and mechanics during a run play. We're going to get a run to the top of the screen, and we're going to rule a runner down when the ball is stripped out, and we have an end zone view to show as well. So we're going to see this run come across the 5-yard line, and the runner's going to be held up, and then we're going to see a defender come out with the ball and run down the field. If we back it up, let's just take a look at what our headline judge is doing. Our headline judge gets a little too close right here and has a head down as the ball was stripped and does not know where the ball is and is ruling the runner down. So we want to make sure that we keep plenty of space and don't get up too fast on this play so we can have wide vision and see the entire play. When we go to the end zone view, you'll be able to see this a little better, that the ball is actually stripped before the runner is down or before forward progress is ruled. Now, if we'd ruled forward progress, that would have been a different thing, but forward progress would not be the correct ruling on this play. You can see right here, the ball has been stripped, and I'll back it up just a little bit. Right here, this ball has been stripped before the runner's down, but our headline judge has a head down and can't see that the ball's been stripped. So he's ruling the runner down, does not know where the ball is, and we end up taking away a strip. So again, going back to our earlier guidelines on fumble, if we can see both the ball and the runner's body part down, then we can rule them down. If we can't see them both, we let it play out till we see both or we know where the ball is. So in this particular play, we want to keep more depth as a headline judge. We want to keep more depth. Don't be so quick to get up and get the spot, especially when you know they're contesting the ball. And keep your head up. Being down and looking for a spot is not as important as knowing where the ball is. We can get a good idea where the spot is, but we can't miss that ball was stripped and going the other way and take away a potential score for a team. So just be patient. Make sure you see both ball and body part before we rule a runner down. And keep our head up when we're getting our spots. Play number 7 involves a swinging gate on an extra point. And I first want to point out that we do not have a holder or a kicker in this particular formation at this point. So we should be in regular position with our umpire up here, being able to officiate the offensive line, and our back judge back here. It is not obvious a kick is going to be made, so we should not be ready in a extra point or scrimmage kick positioning on this particular play at this particular point. Now, when they shift, we're going to see them switch into a kicking formation. Our referee comes over to get a look and get the right angle. So at this point now, we could shift into our positions for a extra point or a field goal. But prior to this, when they are in this formation, there is no option for kicking the ball at this particular point, except for maybe a drop kick. And I don't think we've seen a drop kick in years. So we should be in our normal positions. Now we're going to fast forward. We're going to get to this position, and then we want to take a look at this defender right here. I want to take a look at him. Look at his action. We're going to see him jump over, I believe it's the snapper. That is a foul for hurdling. We want to make sure that we get this foul. In high school, no player is permitted to hurdle. Rule 943D. No player or non-player shall hurdle an opponent. Rule 222, hurdling is an attempt by a player to jump, hurdle with one or both feet or knees foremost over an opponent who is contacting the ground with no part of his body except one or both feet. So no one can jump over anybody in high school football. So we want to make sure that we're aware of this. Talk about this for your extra points, field goals. You can't jump over a player in high school. That's a foul for hurdling. Our last play this week involves a contested catch in the end zone and patience and mechanics by our deep official. So what we're going to have is we're going to see a pass, deep pass that's caught right about the goal line and it's contested by the defense. We can see both receivers go up. We can't see a clear view with this gentleman's arm in the way, but what we can see is as they go up, when we do have a look, we can see that the defender in white has the ball in his possession. Our back judge is going to come up and is going to rule touchdown. We want to make sure that we're in position to see this happen. Our back judge is slow to get a jump on it and is not at the goal line. We'd like it better if you could get to the goal line. But as it stands right there, we're still moving when this happens, and then when we're ruling a touchdown. Now we have an end zone view of this. So as we look at this end zone view, we're going to see clearly that the offensive player never possessed the ball, never completed the act of a catch, whereas the defensive player completes the act of the catch, has possession, a body part down, and an element of time. And so this should have been ruled an interception. We need to slow down, and we need to process plays and not react, and make sure that we understand the process of a catch and who has possession on a play. Again, at this particular point right here, our back judge is not moving. We want to be moving at this point and recognizing that we do have a potential threat in the end zone. As it stands, we are not in a totally disadvantageous position. We can see who caught this ball. We want to just slow down and find out who has possession of the ball. That's all for the plays this week. Have a great week of football. Travel safe. Have great pre-games, and make sure the calls are big and make sure they're there.
As we wrap up this week's Plays of the Week, I want to leave you with one key takeaway. Focus on one specific area to improve your play calling. Whether it's better positioning, more precise judgment, or clear communication, honing in on a single aspect will help you become an even better official. Don't forget to send any interesting plays to our Huddle program if you'd like feedback or want to contribute to helping our team adjudicate similar situations. Let's make this week a great one. Have fun out there, travel safely, and remember, make those calls big.